And we're
Hello.
back.
Welcome to the studio. How are you?
Hi, Emma. How you doing? I'm doing good.
Yeah, okay, so?
Yeah, okay, so.
Mm. We had a kid who could not spit out a sentence to save her life. And so she started
She was just like slap
she
happy.
was just like on repeat. She was like, yeah, okay, so, yeah,
Um,
okay, yeah, yes, okay, so. And so so we created a new language for her and we like spit it out super fast. It was like,
okay, so.
okay, so okay, yeah.
It's a Japanese.
Oh, you're making her laugh. It's so funny because like in we used to have this thing with the kids where like it would be like stop, let go. And so their name became Stalago. Like
Stalago,
Stalago,
go get a
stop, let
Coke.
go. And then there was ow, let go. And so then that became Oligo
Oligo and
and
Stalago.
Stalago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What are you
exactly.
drinking there? You got a little
Uh
espresso action?
yeah,
That's a big espresso,
it's
dude.
a quad shot.
Holy crap.
It's a quad shot with sugar-free syrup and half and half.
You gonna do a marathon after this?
I'm gonna go to bed. I have ADD. Caffeine. Put me down it.
No.
Yeah.
Narcolepsy.
No, narcolepsy is different.
So, yeah, okay.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there's this weird thing that's been happening in my life lately.
What's that?
It's a smell.
You got people so intrigued right now. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it's a smell.
Okay.
Then it just shows up.
Okay. It's
And
usually what happens when you don't shower.
it's not me, and it's a good smell.
It's very
It's
fragrancy.
very hard to describe
Mm-hmm.
because I would associate it maybe with clean laundry,
But it's not clean laundry. It
but
doesn't
it's
smell
not
like
that
clean laundry.
smell.
No.
It doesn't smell like detergent,
Mm-mm.
and it doesn't smell like a softener,
Mm-mm.
but it is sweet, and
It is a sweet smell.
it's very hard to describe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very sweet, like aromatic. It's very like it's strong, but it's not overpowering.
Florally. I will say it reminds me of floral.
It's just strange. Okay, so it's shown up inside of our house,
Mm-hmm.
only in one room, this room.
This is my prayer room, though. It's my war room.
And it's shown up at the front door. And then I've searched
Mm-hmm.
all outside around the house to try to get the same smell I'm getting at the front door.
Oh, I know. I was on the phone with you when
No.
you were out.
Yeah, I went to both sides of the fence. Like we weren't doing any laundry that day at all.
No, I hadn't done any laundry.
Dude. Okay, so I'm gonna keep using okay so now. Um so a couple of weeks later, I've got to go to a funeral
Yeah.
and I drive clear to Oklahoma for this funeral
Mm-hmm.
service. And then I take my grandpa home from there.
Mm-hmm.
Then I pull up to his house and the smell is in the driveway of his house. This is at like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, why is that same smell here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that happens. And then tonight,
Mm-hmm.
walking down the street,
In my 6 foot. No, sorry.
I mean, and it's tonight. I say tonight, it's 10 o'clock now. So it's probably about
It was like 8, I think. It
8,
was dark.
8:30. But it was dark. And walked down the street. And as soon as we got back to our road and started approaching our house, but not at our house, in the middle of the road, it just boom. And I'm like, it's the same smell.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that it's God.
Yeah, it's biblical for sure.
That's how I feel about it. Because in my, call me crazy, whatever you want to do. I don't really care. But in my mind, when I'm smelling this smell, and I'm really in tune with God,
Yeah.
and we've been talking all day whenever this happens.
Mhm.
Oddly enough, the people around me can smell the same smell.
Mhm.
So it's not just me that
No.
can smell it,
No.
but it's showing up.
It is showing up.
So I'm going to take it for what it's worth. I've been seeing a lot of twos in my life.
Mhm.
My whole instrument cluster the other day was all twos. 222,000 miles, 222, whatever it was,
Mhm.
22,222 miles. And then I had 222 miles empty at the same time.
Mhm.
And I was doing 72 miles an hour.
Mm.
Pretty craziness. So, yeah, God's been showing up in my life a lot lately. At least that's how I feel about it. And I have this certain calm feeling about everything right now. It's just so strange. Usually I would be very anxious about a lot of different things that are happening because I'm waiting on things to click and hit and work and our personal lives and just all these things are, it's a mountain of things that I would usually be stressed out about, and I'm not.
Yeah. Mm. We did a really fun exercise last night, and I think it helped.
That was great, actually.
I think it helped my mindset for today because I was not battling the same things that I've been battling every day.
Yeah.
Um, and just coming into today with a different mindset. But so we did an out loud experience.
It came
Like
out of nowhere.
it really did. But so like
I could tell you were a little bit off last night, which usually happens on Sundays
that the
that
girls
works.
return home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Usually happens at pretty much every time.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to come up with something on my own, a way of helping.
Mhm.
And because I've been so in tune with things, this just came out of nowhere. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what did I say?
I'm like, I can't sleep tonight. And I do. I get really antsy when I don't have my children. Um, our children, my children, just when I drop them off and like I give the feeling that I'm feeling is they are mine. Like, and I don't mean that in a negative way because I know there are kids. Um, but when I drop them off,
Is it you? Are you wearing this? Hmm. You must have waved it in my direction. Sorry.
probably. Well, I was praying and anointing our son earlier
So it's not
today.
even, sorry, I don't want to mess up your story, but it's
You're
not even the
okay.
same smell.
It's not. It's close.
It's very
It's
close, but
very close.
it's very distinct. It's
It is very distinct. I put
very much
my
its own thing.
okay, so let's just dive into that. Like forget this whole topic. You talk for a second because I'm gonna go over here and get because I've
I
been
don't know what
putting
to
on my
talk about.
the conference, the New Beginnings conference, and all of that stuff because that's really what set
It kind of
us
set the
off
tone for
into a
some
new
different,
journey.
yeah. Yes and no. I mean, okay. So obviously, and I'm sure everybody at some point has dealt with this or is currently dealing with something in their life, right? There's ups and downs every day, everybody's life, everybody's battling something. We all know that. We all get it, right? And so you're either internally going to battle it and talk to yourself, or you can turn and talk to God about it and just let it go.
Yes.
Which has been, I will say, very difficult for me to do to get started.
Yeah.
Probably one of the hardest things that have to do in my life because for so long I've been so dependent on I have to take care of the situation. For so long of my life, my mindset has had to be you can't ask anybody for anything. You're not going to ask anybody for anything. You're going to figure it out on your own. You're going to do it. You're going to succeed because you're going to work your ass off to get it done. Right? That's just been my mindset my entire life because that's what I've had to do. I was just thrown out and said, okay, sink or swim. This is what's going to happen in your life. We're going to set the stage for it. Right? So since
Right.
I was probably 13 or 14, this has been my life
Mhm.
of Jason's got to figure it out. He can rely on no one. He can ask no one for help. And I've literally lived my life that way. And so far, it has been fine until it just really started taking over my life. As far
The
as
enemy came
just
after us really hard in 2023.
just breaking me down, like just chiseling away at
Oh,
every
yeah.
piece of my soul. And I'm like, either I give up or I've got to find somewhere to channel all of this negativity to. Or I've got to find somebody that I can release it to, or release it into. And
Yeah.
until, honestly, be honest with you guys, because that's how I am. So until you and I met, and even it took a while, even into our relationship for this to even begin. Um, I didn't go to church for a really long time. I went when I was as a kid. I went to a Baptist church, but I never really got like super involved in the Bible or scripture or any of these things really until you and I started going to church. So,
I've been in church for a minute.
yeah, I mean, I've gone to church. I'm just not you guys understand what I'm saying. I've gone to church. I just haven't gone to church.
You've gone to church, but you've not been in the church.
I've been in the church.
No, I
So,
meant
here's
like a
the weird
membership of in the church. Like, that's what I'm
here's
talking
the
about.
weird thing about me and church. Every time that I've ever stepped into a church,
They want you to take your wallet with you?
uh there's there's that part of things, but every time that I've stepped into a church, I feel the presence of the Lord. I know when the Lord's in a church and I
When
can
he's
feel it.
not. Yeah.
And every time that I've stepped into the church and I've wanted that to be there, I know that it's there. Like my body, my soul, I feel it. It's,
Yeah.
and if you know, you know. If you don't, you need to figure it out.
Yep.
So I don't know where I was going with all of this. Oh, so yeah. Anyways, I've allowed myself to take care of myself and not put my trust into the Lord until recently, and that's where all of these little things are coming from.
Well, and
It probably sounds crazy.
you have a partner now too that's like, that's that's cool, but you pray about it. Like, like even like the job opportunities and interviews and things like that. Like you had a job interview in here because it was via like a phone call or Zoom call or something. And I
Hmm.
was on the other wall and I was just like praising and praying, praising and praying. And I literally, from the time you got on the phone to the time you walked out, was literally praying and pacing the entire time.
Yep.
And just was in full alignment with just whatever was going to be.
Hmm.
That's how,
And
like,
we have not lived our lives this way
no,
our whole life.
no.
Neither one of us.
Mm-mm. So my parents,
A lot
okay.
of this is new.
So
A lot of our, I think, a lot of our, what do you call it?
faith,
Yeah, a lot of our faith is new for both of us individually, for both of us together, collectively,
yeah,
and to be able to open up and express how we want to be in front of each other without feeling like
judged,
we're judged by the other
awkward.
person or anybody in our home.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Because I know, like, in my previous relationship, like, I attended church by myself. Like, I wasn't like, I didn't go, so it wasn't like I could take what I had at home and, like, or take what I had learned at church to home and be understood or cultivate together or,
Have a
like,
conversation
have a
about it.
conversation about it or whatever. Um, it was just like, "You're crazy." You are so crazy. Like, and that's not good. Like from your spouse, like if you're so it really turned me off because it was like, well, I feel like I have to choose. I can either have a relationship with my husband or I can have a relationship with church and Christ and God, but I can't have both. And so it was like, okay, well, the easiest path, I guess, is, I guess my husband, because going to church was like, I had to make sure everything was done, but in order for me to go to church.
It's leaking.
Yeah. So, but at the conference, I bought this was a last minute decision too, by the way, to go to the conference. So we were praying and like,
Like a night or 2 nights before.
and I was like, and you were like, I was like, we're going to church on Wednesday. We're going to church, and then I pulled up where we were going to go to church, and it turns out that it was the
It's leaking and
yeah, it
everywhere.
yeah. I was like,
Needs to stand up.
yeah, um, it's the we're gonna have to do the conference. We're gonna have to go to because if we want to go to church tonight, the only way to go is if you go to the conference, and it's a New Beginnings conference, and with that, it's a prophetic New Beginnings conference. So prophetically, like at random, you get given a word for the year, and my word for the year was obedience, which is a hard thing for me to swallow. And then yours was what was yours? You don't remember?
There wasn't a word,
No, it's not
like
just
a
one word. It's
phrase.
a phrase, but what was your gist of yours?
I don't know how to pull it up.
Oh. They're they're taped to our bathroom mirror. But I got the anointing oil because our church has like a little gift shop for because we've got so many missions all over the world through our church. And so I think this is if I'm saying this incorrectly, I'm so sorry, but I think it's called a tallit, and it's from Israel because we have a mission in Israel, and so it's a prayer cloth from Israel. Uh
It's not really a word.
oh. Yeah, but there was like a phrase that like broke down what you're
That is it at the very top.
praise the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all of his benefits. Was your word. But there was like there's more to it. The way that the card breaks it down. But it, basically like study it, know it. Basically to me what your verse is from the Bible and the word over it is basically like stop forgetting the promises of the benefits of following Christ and lean into those, which is a huge word because that's something we were already talking about and doing and trying to do and trying to yeah. And so we made during that 3 days we made a pledge.
I'm gonna say it's amazing feeling to let everything go.
Yeah. People are going to
And
say
y'all
we're
don't really
crazy.
nobody understands unless you understand.
Right.
And everybody thinks that about everybody. Literally, if you're not a a churchgoer or believe in the
Believer.
Bible or a believer or whatever you want to call yourself,
Mm.
then you will not understand this conversation at all.
Which is fine.
And then those of you that do understand this conversation are gonna be like, "Yep,
Yeah. It was
exactly."
it was something else. It was really, really awesome. And then it was great to hear like all of the works and stuff that have been going on with the church and like a lot of the things that the church is seeing outside of the United States. And then it talked about like the prophetic word just in general for the year.
Yeah, because when you leave here and go to another country, it opens your eyes to this country
Mhm.
so much bigger. It's like whenever you leave your state, your home state, or your local
Town.
city
Yeah.
and go into another big area that's completely different than yours. Politics are so much different, people are so much different. Everything is just different everywhere you go.
It's amazing how you morph to your situation and your
Yeah,
surroundings.
it really is. because me being up me being up in Oklahoma with family up there, they're just in a good way so much different
Mhm.
in the way that they live, the way
Yeah.
that they treat each other, the respect that they have for each other, the not all of the cussing, not the smoking, not the drinking. It is just pure family and it's solid. It's actually pretty amazing to watch a lot of it because you can tell that they all live on the same land. They might live an acre or two away from each other, but their houses are like, one after another. And it's mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, son, kid, granddaughter, whatever, cousins.
It's amazing how much the nuclear family unit is coming back together. Like, there's, like, just, like, this whole reset of, like, families are no longer separated, like,
But when you get
everything's
into
being
like DFW, if you take that situation and then you're like, okay, well you break your family down and put it in DFW. All right. So say you grandma, grandpa live in Fort Worth and mom and dad live in Dallas. They're probably not getting together.
No, not at all.
There's just so much different.
Yeah. I mean, like, for like, how much more would we see your parents if they lived in our neighborhood or,
Yeah.
you know, like, you see your family more if you're closer to them. It's so easy to come up with an excuse of, like, "I don't wanna get in the car," or, "Oh, we've got this to do," or,
I hate
like,
that.
it it's
That's some of my
true,
favorite
though.
family up there. And it's only 2 hours away, 2.5 hours away.
Yeah,
But it's 2.5 hours away. It's only, but it's 2.5 hours away.
right.
So it's not like, okay, let's load up the family for the day or the weekend or whatever. Let's go up here. It's hard to do. Everybody's got a life.
Kids have sports, you're busy raising family, like, but how great would it be that if everybody did live closer, we could pop over there for lunch or come watch the ball game or come have a hot dog
Yeah.
with us while we watch, one of the kids play or
Or let's all go to the kids' game. This one's got a
right.
game. That one's got a game. They're all at the same place having the game.
Yeah.
Is even what's even more cool about that situation is they've got a first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade teacher.
Mm,
There's 5 of them that are teachers in the school district
that's really cool.
at all those different levels, and they've got kids that are, starting first grade and going up, but yeah.
The likelihood of it being your aunt's pretty high.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. That is cool. Yeah. That and I think also too, there's also a movement and a shift away from public school happening too. Going back to the roots is really happening right now. Like once you're able to open your eyes and see how the government and the world is actually working and what's actually controlling you, you're like, whoa. Like you can't unsee it once you see it.
Yeah.
And if you're so busy distracting yourself from what they're putting in front of you, you'll never see it.
Well, you gotta understand also that's what they want.
Right. So if you're so busy being distracted by wanting the American dream, you're never gonna see
You'll never get it.
you'll never get it. And so it's like
Instead of want it, just go do it.
they're indoctrinating our children to like our kids are missing so much and
So
truly
much.
don't know.
I don't have a clue.
Mm-mm. No, they don't
And
because
most of you guys listening don't have a clue.
no, and I'm not judging anybody. We send our kids to public school too, but I do know that when our youngest comes up, he will not be going to public school.
Yeah,
I've
I
already
hope
made
we're
that
in the
decision.
I want to I wanna do the same thing that this part of my family is doing. I would love to live off of land somewhere. I just know how hard it is.
Yeah,
Um,
without a doubt. It's 100% dedication.
but it's doable.
It is doable.
It's I mean, not 100% live off not like, "Okay, let's go eat grass," or whatever. But
I
you know what I
understand.
mean.
Yeah, like have a
Um,
cow, have a chicken, have something to produce eggs, maybe
yeah,
a small
whatever.
garden, whatever it is, but it all takes legit dedication. I mean,
And it's not I mean, you can tell, like, it's they're not their pockets aren't overflowing with money by any means. They're not going out of their means. They don't all drive brand new cars or anything like that. Cars probably 10, 12 years, 20
What's
years
the
old.
but here's
What?
the
Who cares?
let me say this,
It
what's the
works.
point of being wealthy if you're not blessing those around you?
Yeah.
And so, like, that to me is like, I look at all these billionaires and I'm like, "What are you doing with it? Where's it
Nothing.
going?"
Nothing good.
Nothing good. Exactly. So,
You
when
know,
you talk about your family and
they
that
well, they want to say that they're doing good things, like they're putting money back into the economy, and that's the good thing that they're doing. But it, and I understand that to a certain degree, but it could go into the economy in a different way. Instead of building businesses and jobs and whatever, you could do so many more things. And I wish people, like, just general people, would open their minds to that. And I know that I'm
y
saying this and I haven't always lived my life this way, and I don't want anything to get misconstrued because I'll be straight up honest with you. I've made a shit ton of money in my life and I blew it all. I blew it like I had it. Just whatever. You want something? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's do all these fun, fancy things. Great. If I could redo all of that, I would so do it all different.
yeah. What I was getting at is it's that your family and the way that they live, like you said, their pockets may not be deep, but they still have a wealth of riches.
Yeah, they do. They have each other.
Yes,
And what else do we really need?
exactly. I'm not saying that, like, you know,
It's cool to have, I mean, it's
it's
not cool, it's nice. It is a luxury. It is a benefit to have a little bit of extra cash, not be like, "Okay, I'm stressed out because I can't pay this or pay that." It'd be great to be able to just pay your bills, have a little bit on top, just a little bit. You don't need to be excessive on top, and have everybody
no.
that you want around you
Right. Yeah.
instead of living an empty life like majority of people do that are in overpopulated areas.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, our goal, like, so I made a 2024 vision board, which for one of my new endeavors that I'm taking in, um, was like, "Hey, make a vision board," which I wanted to make anyways, but I was able to do it digitally, which is really cool, like, instead of, like, cutting out the magazines and stuff. So I made the vision board and it's even hanging above my desk. Like you saw it because you hung bookshelves for me tonight. And the cool thing about that is it's like it's literally got my list of books and then the books are up above the bookshelf. And so if I'm not and typically when I read books, I usually read them either I read them both on Audible and physically. Not at the same time, but like sometimes you want to read your book and you want to listen to it Audible, whatever. But today I finished a book and I started another one. But I listen to my books, I think I upped my speed today to
It's really
1.8.
fast. I
Yeah.
don't know how you listen to them that way.
If it's slow, I'm like,
I don't know how you comprehend what is being said because, and I do this. It's kind of a weird thing that I do. Whenever, and it's certain things in certain ways, people are saying it to me for this to make this happen in my brain. But I'll repeat what's coming at me if I don't understand what's coming at me in my head.
mhm,
I literally will word for word bring it in and say it in my head and then download it if I don't understand it.
yeah,
Like, if you're talking to me in a monotone or something like that, and I just can't keep focus on you,
yeah.
then I'm gonna repeat.
Problem being with ADD is that if you don't speak fast enough, I'm already finishing your sentences, and by the time you get to you finish your sentence, I've already moved on 3 to 4.
Oh, I know, and you're aggravated,
Mhm. So that's how I'm able
and you
to
don't wanna listen to the rest of it,
nope. And
and you're already checked out.
mhm.
I know.
Yeah, so that's how I'm able to is that it literally keeps up and I'm not able to think forward, which is great. So I love Audible and I've already got my books pre-downloaded. They're already pre or like in the order of which I'm going to be reading them, which is awesome. So I'm really looking forward to completing my my read list. But what I was getting at is it's that we have we have some serious goals that we want. We um and it's to the point where, like, I don't even really wanna speak our goals out loud just because I don't want them to be attacked spiritually, and I feel like any wormhole or wiggle room or anything the enemy can sneak into right now is going to use it. You know, they're gonna be like oh, you can't this, you can't that, and it's no different than on our parenting app. I got a message from the other side today, and you were like, don't waste your time. Because it was all, it was like, how bad of a parent are you? You're so horrible. The kid is suffering. And then the kid calls me and she's like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I feel okay. I'm like, okay. And it's going to be a constant um bereavement of inflicting of pain. And I have to draw the line and draw the boundary and just be like, no, I don't have to engage with you in that anymore. And if that's how you feel, I'm sorry, you live a miserable life. You got quiet.
I'm letting you talk. I told you that I was doing this whole new thing.
Yeah. I mean, I was proud of you. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go into this podcast. I really want Jason to talk. And so I even put in, I was like, questions to ask your spouse to get them open up about their feelings. I even have like a prep list here.
Okay.
I've at 10.
So I have this really bad habit about interrupting and talking over, and I haven't always had it. I've had it for about, I would say probably 10 years, maybe a little bit longer. I don't know. Um, but the entire time I was growing up, until I was probably about 25, I always sat back and watched situations and listened, and I never would overspeak. And over time, through owning businesses, I had to be more assertive. I had to be more uh, responsive in certain situations. And I think that's what built that, talking over people. And I'm trying to bring myself back to shut up and listen.
Yeah, I can understand that. And when we first got together, you were really good about listening, and that was one of my really big turn-ons was that you actually let me speak. And you didn't interrupt, and you wanted to wait until I was finished, and I was actually able to open up finally and communicate and really feel like I was being heard. And it
Sure.
probably within the and I know I was being heard for sure, but I also felt like I was being heard. So, like, there's a difference in knowing that you're heard and feeling like you're heard. And as a woman, you have to have both. Like, you really truly have to have both. You have to know you're heard and you have to feel you've been heard. So, where are you going? Oh, my coffee's all gone. So, I know, like, when we first started dating, you were really, really, really good about, um like, letting me talk, and it's just been, I don't know, I would say the last 9 months or so, like, you've just in my default, you talk over me, that's it. That I will completely shut off, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm not what I'm thinking in my train of thought is not important, so great, I'm glad you feel the way you feel.
But that's not it. It's not meant to be that way. Even though that's how it feels, possibly to you.
Yeah, it is how it feels to me.
It's not what it's intended. It's just that there is, so that you understand this, there's thought process going on while you're saying what you're saying. And I feel if I don't say something at that point in time, then I'm not going to get another chance to say that thing.
Because 'Cause you're gonna forget it or it's not gonna be relevant when I'm finished?
Probably both of those.
You understand? Yeah. Yeah.
Or the subject changes
Mhm.
and then that just disappears.
Yeah. I understand that too because my brain works that same way. But it's also been like you get onto your mom for the long pauses and she's like or like 'cause your mom is
I
all
don't get on to her. She gets on to me
yes, okay,
for the
sorry I
long
said that
pause
wrong. Yeah.
because she'll ask me something and then she'll go, okay, what's your favorite color? Hello? Hello? I'm like, you didn't even give me a chance to say anything.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get even a long pause. I got a question. respond with hello. I didn't have time to say blue.
Yeah.
It's blue.
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah. Well, and we were in the living room the other day, and I was like, "God, you're worse than your mom." Like I was in the process of thinking, and you're like, "Okay, whoa, okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry."
It wasn't that bad.
But you
I said something
acknowledged
to
it.
you, and then I'm like, I was ready for me to say the next thing to you.
Yeah.
So when I had said the next thing, you're like, well, I didn't answer that yet. I'm like, I guess you have an answer. That was a long pause, though. It was at least 5 seconds.
Okay.
Like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4.
Okay. Sure. I get it.
How long was it?
I don't know, but I was enough for me to call you out on it.
Mm-hmm. It's all right. Anyways, we were talking about something and we got way off track.
Oh yeah, we were talking, but that's what I feel like makes our podcast so good. Like this is just
It does, but we need to bring it back to
Yeah.
where we were at because
So we've been
you
going.
decided to cancel X, Y, and Z so we could play this button.
What?
Hmm.
I don't even know. So we've been going to church. And we went to a 3-day church conference, which was really good. I really liked it. I loved the 3-day part. And it was 3 days for it was what?
And that was like
3
3 or 4
hours?
hours.
Yeah, every night. It was just so good. It was so good to just go and just get washed over. It was great. So we went to the New Beginnings conference. Pastor Troy's our you can look him up on YouTube. Follow him on YouTube.
Evidently, I'm his biggest fan.
Oh, yeah, he has a fan badge. You felt so special.
He even commented.
Did he really?
Like, oh, look at me.
Okay, look at you go. And then what else happened? Yeah, that's really. And then we just been praying a lot. We've been changing what we listen to, been changing what comes into our home, been praying at night. And then you've said that you've been noticing you wanted to help me with the transition of when the girls leave for 7 days at a time.
Yep.
So last night we did an
Oh, yeah, we were going to get into that.
Well, last night we did an exercise of I was like, I can't. I'm like, I'm so tired. I can't even sleep. Like, I'm going to lay here. I'm going to be still and put my phone away. You're going to fall asleep. And then I'll just get back on my phone and just burn my time.
I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. I don't know what you're thinking about negative right now, but we're going to change your thought process. So I'm going to tee this up and get your thought process going. And then I want you to give me all the details, like in detail, what we're doing.
Yeah. It was such a good weekend. It was perfect.
Yeah. So where were we?
We were.
Or what exactly did I say?
I want you to close your eyes and I want you to visualize us, me and you, no kids, somewhere. And I was like, okay.
Anywhere.
And I was like, okay. So my first thought is cold. I want to go somewhere cold.
Why?
Because you are super, super hot natured. Not that I'm super, super hot natured, but I don't like to cuddle when it's hot. So I like cold.
You're a furnace. I don't like to cuddle when it's hot either.
No. So I was like, something about my personality and my mindset right now, going to the water does not seem peaceful anymore. Water used to be my place, but now
water still works for me.
But now my mindset is the mountains, the treetops, the trees.
It's very interesting that you say that though. And it's got my mind thinking into something else.
Do you care to share?
No.
Okay.
I'll share with you later.
So I literally just laid there and explained, where we were, how many days we were gone, what the cabin looked like that we were in, what the sounds were that we could hear.
It's kind of a lot like a trip that you don't remember going on.
Yes and no. I mean, the cabin the cabin was not and is not set up. I believe this cabin is somewhere, by the way. Um, it does. And, s but no, the trees, yes, I could totally see the trees.
Oh, we got all the way down to the details of the room layout of the home
Yeah, the whole floor plan of the house.
and what it's stocked with.
Mhm. Yep, exactly.
We didn't get quite into interior decorating, but pretty damn close.
Yeah. I mean, the sectional of the sofa, it's leather, and my favorite blanket that I brought, and oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, it's pretty detailed.
it was very
I
detailed.
mean, this conversation that I thought would be quick turned into 2 hours.
It was good, though. I think you learned a lot.
You think I learned a lot?
Yeah.
What did I need to learn?
I don't know. Just about how my brain works, I think, and, like, what I was what I'm capable of
You
visualizing.
learned a lot.
Huh?
I think you learned a lot.
What'd I learn?
How patient I am.
You are a very patient person, especially when it comes to me.
And someone once told me they're not patient.
I am not. Do you believe that still rings true?
Yes.
Okay, then. I'm honest.
Nobody said you weren't. Continue.
Oh, yeah, so just I mean, beautiful cabin in the
You don't
trees.
have to tell them all.
Oh, I'm
Like,
not going to. Um, but it was just a visualization exercise of, like, walking through, visualizing all of it, sharing, the feelings that you feel while you visualize it, and then, like, what's around you and what the sounds are, like, really walking through it was just really nice. It was r and then I actually slept.
yeah.
It really did shift my mind, and then this morning, I I think I shocked you on how much of a good mood I was in, I think. Don't tell me
Can
making
you hear
noises.
that?
They can.
Can y'all hear that? It's
I
kind
don't
of
know if they
crazy.
can.
Pretty loud.
Oh, you're having soda, that's why. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It was a pretty good day.
A very
Did you have
good
a good
day.
day?
I did. I did. Finishing my book, making some, mindset shifts, planning content. So the other thing that I was gonna jump into that I'm excited to
I had some good phone calls,
did you?
which, you know, I'm thankful for my patience as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't have it. Sometimes I get aggravated because I feel like I'm waiting forever on things to happen. But, there's something to be said about that word patience
Mhm.
because when you want things to happen like so quickly and you're expecting them to change so quickly, if you would just wait, if you could sit on something and wait 24, 48 hours, you're most likely going to feel different about it.
100%. Like that time we almost brought dirt bikes?
I would have been on board with that. Um, I'm on board with anything that puts our family together.
Agreed.
My stomach is not on board with this right now.
Yeah.
But no, patience is, you know, something that I do have. Sometimes not so much, but I'm very thankful for it recently that I've been able to just sit back and wait on certain things to happen because they are unfolding. If I didn't have those patience and I was jumping to this or jumping to that because I just didn't believe in the things that were happening. And there have been those days. Everybody's going to have the days where like, just this is not going to happen. You're just down on everything. You're just screw this. No, 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 no. Just negative, negative, negative. Right?
Mhm.
Everybody's got that day. But There are more better days than worse days because of that patience word. And I learned that even if I know things are going to happen in a day or the next day or whatever, I try not to let them happen first thing in the morning. If I have a way to control it, I would rather them happen in the afternoon. And I know that might sound strange, but it gives the day time to start and people time to process. And then by the time these things actually happen in the afternoon, it's like, okay, let's deal with this.
I feel like when things pop off first thing in the morning, it's catastrophic.
Yeah, usually it is.
Yeah, but
It's
then
like it's an emergency type situation. It's okay, drop that, do this, completely just derail the entire day
mhm,
around one thing. And most of the time, it's not worth it.
no.
Majority of the time, those things cost you more than what it's worth. Cost you more time, more effort, more energy, put you in a bad mood,
Mhm.
whatever it may be. But I think there's a reason for all these things that are changing in my life and the way that they're changing, and it's orchestrating itself in a very clear way that I'm able to see it and understand it. For one of the first times in my life, I actually see and understand the things that are happening in the direction that they're happening and why.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty huge thing. And I wish this would have happened honestly earlier in my life, but it is what it is. We are where we are.
Would you have understood the blessing though?
Probably not
Right.
because I wasn't in a place where I could. It's going to happen for hopefully everyone at some point in time in their life whenever they understand why, who, what, when, where, why, right?
Mhm.
Talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was distracted. Um, yeah. So talking like that's him and his blessing and everything. And what I was thinking about in my head while you were talking was about like the visualization exercise that we were doing, and what it did for our relationship in that moment was when I picture going to the beach, I picture it's just I've never been to a beach that's quiet. I've never been to a beach that's not overly populated or busy or not chaos. Like, it's usually like, anytime I've ever been to the beach, it's been extremely stressful. It's been, like I said, extremely loud. There's people coming up to you and trying to sell you stuff. There's just a ton of population, like, kids screaming, like, off in the distance, And that's why I chose to put us, like, in the mountains, in the trees, in the treetops,
Hmm.
because it was like,
And that's where we've gone, and that's where it's quiet.
that's where it's quiet, and that's where you can
Quiet
hear.
to a certain degree. Like there are certain things you want to hear.
Yes.
There are certain things you want to hear at the beach. It's
Yes.
waves crashing.
Mhm.
I remember that very distinctly as a child. Um, Another fun fact: we used to go to the beach and actually sleep in tents on the beach, which is the worst thing you can do in the middle of the summer. I don't know how we made it.
It's not safe for one.
We
Not now anyways.
we would come back just completely fried like tomatoes. Like we would be so red, too much sun, and then you're like, you don't have any way to like shower,
Yeah, but besides the outdoor
and you
shower
yeah,
thing, yeah.
so you're stuck with sand
Mhm.
the entire way home, even after you're ready to leave and you're just
Mhm.
done with sun and then sand rubbing on your ugh.
You sunburn? Yeah.
But the good part about this story is sleeping on the beach puts that wave relaxation into your brain. And then for the next week after you leave, all you can hear is that.
Mhm.
And I enjoyed that as a kid
Yeah.
because I can still remember that.
The only time that as a child that I ever went to the beach was when we went to Mexico and we were staying at a hotel called Casa del Mar in Cozumel, Mexico. And I got my dive certification. And we probably went to this hotel 6 times and stay. And we would dive for, you can't dive the day you fly in and you can't dive the day you fly out just because, you know,
Yeah.
the bends. But so we'd dive for 3 days and then we would do a night dive. So I would, that's really the only beach I ever had as a kid. And my parents never, um, I never knew the beach was a vacation spot. I never knew it. The only, the only true vacations that we ever did were skiing. We did a ton of skiing as a kid. And then as we got older,
And who's that really a vacation for?
skiing,
Yeah.
I don't know. Wasn't for me. Being an old, see, here's the other deal is that when you're an only child and your parents take you on vacations,
You're on your own.
sucks. You don't know anybody. And this is before cell phones. So like being an only child absolutely sucks. And I don't, my opinion, that's my own experiences. I hated
Probably
it.
for some things. And for other things, or be like, okay, well, you get everything as the child's viewpoint. I get everything. And I get to do this. I get to do that.
Yeah, but
That's great. But
looking,
who's going to make your connections with people? Because you are going to have to grow up like an adult.
yes,
Because you're not going to have kid experiences
no,
because you don't have any other kids to have it with.
no, I had none, none at all. For a very short time, and I think probably 2 to 3 years, I had my cousin who lived with us. Her mother gave up custody for a short time, and she was
I'm
with,
the only child as well, right?
yeah. But you have step siblings. I know you're an only child, but you still have step siblings. I
I know.
don't have that.
Most people don't know that about me.
You are an only child between your parents, yes. Um, but you have step siblings, so I don't have that at all. Like, I don't have anything.
I know.
So, I'm not saying that for you, I'm saying it for the world, but I and to that, it's like, so who's that a vacation for? And my mother only did, like, a half day on the slopes, and then my dad did the rest, and then it was just me and my dad hanging out. Like, that was it. And I'm like,
Again, it's like an adult.
right, I
It's
literally
not
became,
a child.
no, it was not a healthy relationship, obviously.
It's not a child vacation. It wasn't just for you.
No, no.
And I think as adults, as parents, people need to reflect on that all in and of itself. Is who are you planning vacation for? If you're the mom and you're planning a vacation, or if you're the dad and you're planning a vacation, who are you planning it for? Are you really planning it for your kids? Are you planning it for yourself?
If
Are you
that's the
planning
case,
it for you to have your own downtime?
just
Take
plan
your
it for
own.
yourself.
Just take yourself away
Yeah,
somewhere.
exactly.
It's cheaper.
Yep, 100%.
Go by yourself.
Go by
Bye.
yourself, yeah. Yeah, and that's also too, that's probably on my bucket list for 2025 is that we're going to take an extravagant vacation with our children.
I don't think it's got to be extravagant, and I don't think.
I'm
And I
talking
think
to, for me, when I say extravagant,
I
I
know
mean,
what
like,
your
to
level
another
of.
state.
I know
Like,
what your
it's
level of
not,
extravagant is, but people are thinking,
"Oh, they're gonna go to France." No, 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 no.
or they're going to do all these whatever.
Mm-mm.
My idea is
I wanna
okay.
get the kids on a plane.
Let's go. Let's
Oh,
just go. So it doesn't even have to be a plane.
no, I want to take my kids on a plane. Like, the only one who's been is on a
It's
plane is
a
the oldest one.
hell of a lot easier to take them on a plane than it is to drive them anywhere. I can tell you that because there's so many of them.
Yeah, I wanna take them. I wanna get them on a plane, and I want them to experience. Here's the deal, is, like, our kids are getting experiences that other children are not getting right now just for the pure fact that we're letting them live.
What do you mean?
like going to the store, making transactions, going to the store and finding items by themselves, navigating, getting to the store. Like, we are allowing our children to experience the world. Most are
We
not.
we also teach our children a lot about the world.
Indeed.
Like we're raising our kids to understand what's out there, not to be sheltered around this little bubble phone.
Or a gaming console or anything
Not
else
to
for that
say that
matter.
they don't have phones, and not to say there's not an Xbox in the living room, because there is.
But they don't have TVs in their room.
But you know what? That Xbox doesn't get played.
Not really.
They have a screen limit time of an hour on their phones
Mhm.
for the entire day. And unless we're going on a road trip or something, they pretty much respect that screen time. They don't really have a
There's
huge problem with it. It's
there's
not.
not, yeah. About the only other thing that you could do is make phone calls or text. I don't shut those off, but every other app on their phone has a limit to it for an hour.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it needs to be. Kids need to be outside. They need to be in the sunshine. They need to be. They need to learn how to navigate the world. They need to learn to have interactions with others around them.
Hmm.
They need to be playing in the streets. Like they need to be. They need to be kids, but they also need to learn how to
They
navigate
need
the
to
world.
know what dangers are out there.
Hmm.
They need to know how fast it can happen.
Hmm. And they do.
They need to know that they can watch out for those things,
Hmm.
and that they can use their own eyes, ears,
Yeah.
sense of direction, how to get out of a situation
Yes.
if they were put into a situation.
And how to say no. Like, I'm really proud about, you know, one of the middle one, speaking up and being like, "No, this is my body, and because it's my body, I have a say so about what happens and what goes on." And I'm like, "You heard me. I'm so proud of you." And, I don't
Yeah. Our
just
kids are all
so proud
different.
of
They're
them.
all their own person. They all have different.
Personalities, needs, traits, likes, dislikes.
Yeah, and so that makes the same thing with them learning. They all learn differently,
Yep.
and so they all have to be taught individually how to respond to things with or without feelings attached to it. Like, say there's something happening. I don't know. A stupid example. Say something happens at a grocery store and they're at the grocery store by themselves. Not proper thing to do to freak out and start crying, right?
Mhm.
So how do you teach a kid? You have to come up with 5 different ways to teach 5 different kids 5 different directions on how to handle that situation.
And a lot of times the best way to do that is to literally just not
Create.
have the anxiety build up, right? And allow them to safely like experience a little bit at a time
Mhm.
that stress so that they can navigate it. So like their experience of dealing with that stress is built upon like Legos stacking on top of each other so that they're like you're
What's really
not.
unique is they ask for it.
Mhm.
And they ask for it that just exactly how you're explaining it. They ask for it a little bit at a time.
Mhm.
And they don't always get the yes, they can go do that thing, but
Right.
they're asking for the next step.
Mhm.
And that's pretty cool to watch.
Mhm.
Uh, can we go do this?
Mhm. Here's
No.
our plan. Here's
Well,
our thought like.
what if I take somebody with me?
Mhm.
Well, we can talk about that. You're not going by yourself.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm going to take this person with me and we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Okay. So what is the entire plan?
Mhm.
And then we'll literally run through the entire plan with them
Mhm.
to make sure that they know what they're doing, how they're getting there, how they're getting back.
Right.
But we don't give them the ideas.
No. No. They want to learn. And they do get stressed out by situations. They
They
do
do.
get overwhelmed.
They
But you
actually react a lot better on their own versus with
if we're
us.
there, yeah. But you've gotta give them the space to figure it out. You've gotta give them the space to process it because if you process for them, you're always going to
You're just
have to
hurting
process
that.
for them.
You're hurting that
Yes,
whole situation.
you are.
You're not doing anything good for anybody.
No. And here's the deal is even if you don't like how they're processing it, you're probably not always going to like how they process something. Even when they're an adult, you're
Yeah.
still going to have, well, I wouldn't have done it that way, or you should probably do it this way. You're
It's a
always
damn
going to have
controlling
yeah,
feature
you're
of a
of
parent.
a parent. You're always going to have that, but you've got to give them the space to try.
And just stop trying to control your kid.
Yeah. But the great thing about us is it's like we're not the same parent for all 5 kids. We're a different
Can't
parent for
be.
each kid.
It just can't be.
No, you can't.
They don't see it that way. Guarantee you.
What do you mean?
They don't think we're different at all towards any of them
Oh God,
individually.
no. No. I don't think that they see how we're different for each of them. But flip side of that, I think that they also think that like, oh, that you treat her like that. You don't treat me like that. Like, I think that there's also a flip side of that
Oh
too.
yeah. I already know that.
Yeah.
The opinions come out quite often.
Tell me. Tell me.
That's the other side of that, is whenever you give that freedom, you have very highly opinionated children.
Yeah. But done correctly could benefit them when they're adults. If they can learn how to deliver their opinion and perspective.
It just makes them that more intelligent.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you
Absolutely.
getting out there?
So I was getting out my Bible study. So I host a women's Bible study virtually every Tuesday. If you'd like to join, right now we are working on Authentically Uniquely You by Joyce Myers. She's got a hardcover.
Where can we find this group at?
So you have to comment if you would like to join. Comment study, and I will drop the link for you for the Facebook group. It's only women. Sorry. Biblically, I feel like it wouldn't be right of me to share my biblical like journey with another man besides my husband. So that's not really something I'm interested in. But there is something to be said about bringing women together to study and to talk about the Bible. And in this Bible study group, it is not it's not a trash talking session. It's not a, stab in the back session. Like it's not about to talk about negatively about anybody or anything like that. That is not what this group is about. You've listened in on some of what, just coming through here. You've
Yeah.
heard some of it.
Not that I retained any of it.
No, but it's literally like, this is what I saw. This is the prophetic dream I had. This is how I'm applying it in my life. This is what I'm struggling with. And in that group, like, I've made it to where every day recent. So I've got prayer cards up every single day. And the prayer cards for this 30 days is praying for relationships, just generalized relationships, not husband spouse relationships, not just like encounters with another person, like relationship general, because like you have a relationship when you go to the bank teller, you've got a relationship when you take the kids to school, like you've got a relationship with your child's teacher, like you are surrounded by relationships. And so that's what the prayer cards are. And then the next 30 days the prayer cards will change and we'll shift our prayer to something else. So we're working on Authentically Uniquely You. If you were interested in joining the prayer, if you're interested in joining the Bible study group, like I said, comment Bible study. I will send you the link. You're more than welcome to join us where we are, or catch up to us if you want to do that as well. But the hardback is the actual study. This is the study guide. And Joyce Myers puts this on. And we are we've been doing this 8 weeks now. Surprise. I'm surprised. I've been so consistent with this. Consistency is a hard thing for me, but I knew that if I put something on and I had other women counting on me, I wouldn't let them down. I've only had to reschedule one time, and that's because one of our kids needed us. But that's okay. That is perfectly fine. And I jumped right back on it, and I didn't let that one time be like, nope, not okay. I guess we're done. But what I was getting,
things are going to happen.
Things are going to happen. And the great thing is I posted, I was like, hey, we're having, I've got a family emergency. I'm sorry, we're going to have to reschedule. We'll have to catch up, later on in the week or whatever. Not that we did, because our week was like super crazy that week anyways.
Yep.
But they were like, how can we pray? What's going on? Like, is it spoken, unspoken? Like, it was all about how can we be with you? Like, what do you need? Do you need a meal? Like, It's just so
Yeah.
crazy, y'all. Um,
Well, when you have a network of people that you're pouring into, they will all pour back into you.
yes.
When you pour into something that is of the nature that you're talking about, it will come back tenfold, no matter what.
Yeah.
Just because you are delivering 100% of what you're delivering, and that's it. That's all. That is literally all.
Yep.
It will every time it will come back tenfold.
Yep. And I'm like I said, I'm not a huge never have been a huge biblical person. Never thought I'd be a preacher. No, it's not that I'm preaching by any means.
I don't know. You might.
Um, maybe.
I can see it.
Thank you.
I could. And you and I've talked about that a little
Yeah.
bit.
But what I was doing a thing because like I said, on my 2024 goal is about putting out a piece of content every day and getting better at my vlog, regardless of what it is, because I think there's too much aestheticness out there about being aesthetically perfect for putting out content when the rest of the world is not aesthetic. Majority of the world is not living that perfect image you're projecting. So, um,
Nobody's living a perfect image.
they try to pretend like they are. Anyways, it's why I was
It
doing
drives me nuts.
while I was doing that, I ran across an aha moment. I did a Facebook Live. If you guys want to follow me on Facebook, you can find me. It's the Jennifer Clements. But I was doing it came across, it says 8 ways to develop a new mindset. And so I'm gonna take these 8 and turn them into pieces of content. I think I'm probably gonna do a long form and a short form, just both. But this one says, get to know yourself, truly knowing yourself, not simply believing what other people say about you. It's key to both authentic living and personal fulfillment. If you want to know yourself better, consider these questions. And I was like, okay, fine. I hear you, especially with getting that message earlier in the day from the co parent. Um, I was like, oh, you're right. I hear you, God. I hear you. Like this chapter, I mean, it seems like every chapter I read hits like right when it's supposed to.
Yeah, no.
It's crazy.
It's everything recently.
Hmm. Yeah. So I take this very seriously.
It's everything recently, and you know why it's showing up because again, I'll say it again. Every time you pour into this thing, it's going to pour right back.
Hmm.
And then you will see your eyes will open
Yeah. This book,
and everything will be so very much strange. And you're gonna go like, no, that's not it. It's gotta be something else. And your evil spirit will come in and go, you're right, it is something else. You should definitely go with something else.
hmm
And you should never go with something else.
no, not at all.
It's
And
very I think it's very unique. I think it's very awesome.
thank you. I think it's awesome too. And I want people to know that if you don't want to do the Bible study, but you're just looking for something to help figure out who you are. And I love this. It says living free from the comparison and the need to please. I'm a huge people pleaser. It makes me feel uncomfortable if I feel like I'm letting someone down. Um, and this is really helping me work through and identify. This book is such an easy read that if you were a fast reader, you could probably do this in a day. This book is such an easy read, but it's the fact that I'm slowing it down and doing a chapter a week. And
You're
then,
breaking it down.
yeah, breaking it down, slowing
You're
it
literally
down.
breaking the entire page down
Mhm.
into notes.
I am. Yeah. And then usually the Bible study is lasting about 2 hours by the time we break down and like I answer the questions and I'm like, this is what I got. This is what I heard. What'd you hear? And then like, you don't have to answer. You can just sit and take it in. Like this could be your time of like
Yeah.
reflection. And we have women that do that. They literally don't turn their cameras on or anything. And but they still maybe be like, they might pop in here and there with like a voice comment or something. But yeah, but then there's others who are like, "No, I got this is what I got. This is what I got. This is what I got." And then there's sometimes where I'm like, "I don't know how to answer that question. What'd you guys come up with?" Like, there's still stuff I don't know, and I'm no longer scared to just make something up. Like, I literally come forthright and be like, I am struggling with how she asked that question, and I don't get it." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, me either, same." So then, we'll kind of brainstorm together and figure it out. But usually it's about 2 hours. Most of us have put our kids to bed. That's why I did 8:30. So I was like, "Let's put our babies to bed and then let's meet." We have coffee. Most of us are in our pajamas when we do it, and it's virtual and it's in here. And I try that day before. So tomorrow, all majority of tomorrow, I'll be praying in here. I'll be very intentional about creating a space and a mindset for tomorrow.
Mhm.
But I take it very seriously. Like, I do not get behind. Um, I don't put it off. It's not something that I'm like, "Oh, you gotta hurry up and do it," or fake it or whatever. No, I'm reading it, I'm pulling up the scriptures, I'm opening my Bible, I'm pulling up Google, like, I do not understand this translation, like, I'm truly reading for a deeper soul understanding. So,
Yeah.
I'm excited about it, and I love it, and I can't believe we're going into week 7. It's crazy. And I'm also excited too because I told all of the women that have joined the Bible study, we're going to do an in-person get together when we're finished. I'm excited about that.
So, one more time, comment what?
Comment study, and I will send you the link to the private group for the Bible study, which the private group has got prayer requests. It's got the links for all of our Bible studies that we do every Tuesday. So you just wait for the link to pop up, click it, and then you join. It's that simple. There's nothing to pay. You don't have to buy the books if you don't want to. You can show up. Like, it's fine. But
And you
there
just
are
sit and listen.
yeah, you can just sit and listen. But there are links in the group that if you want the hardcover and the study guide, you
And
can
most
also do that.
people got them.
Yeah, most of us do. But
Awesome.
there's some that don't, which is fine.
Awesome.
So,
Well, hope you guys,
hope you
if
take
you
us
want to
up on
be,
that.
you want to be a part of it, be a part of it.
Yeah. I'm curious to see, I think towards probably what's this chapter? Mm, I don't know. Oh, that's the conclusion. So probably somewhere around somewhere around page 200. Oh, so around chapter 23, be confident. I'll be praying about like which Bible study we should do next and where we should go. 11:11. Yeah, it's good stuff. But I'm really grateful for this
Oh, look at the
podcast.
TV.
I know.
The ones.
Isn't that crazy? I'm really grateful for tonight's podcast. Thank you for sticking with me on it.
Yeah. You ready to wrap it up?
Oh yeah, I don't care. I'm on fire. Like, we could even like if you want to record another one, I'm good. Like, I totally do another one. But I'm going with my list of questions this next time around.
Mm. You pop them questions off, huh?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
They've been popping. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's end it with this.
Okay.
Let's end it with a question.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
How do you feel about our communication lately? And is there anything or something that I can improve?
I think our communication lately has been great.
I think it's been pretty good.
I don't think we've ever really had a problem with communication.
I think you're really good at getting me to actually speak.
I have to get you to speak.
Mhm.
And I think you've done a whole lot better with trying to do that instead of holding everything in.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's better out than in.
Yeah. It's taken me a minute to really believe you on all of that. And trust that
Mm.
doesn't matter what I say.
How do you feel about it?
How do I feel about what?
Letting it out.
Uh, I don't know. Sometimes it feels good. And other times I feel like it provides me more anxiety. It's taken me a lot to trust the fact that I literally can talk to you about anything and that you're not going anywhere and that you're not gonna yell, you're not gonna scream, I'm not gonna have things thrown at me. I'm not gonna then be, like, penalized, per se, for bringing something up or being like, "Hey, this is kinda bothering me," or, "This is something I'm excited about," or whatever.
What do you
Um,
mean? Like, if you said something and maybe I got mad about something like 6 months later and brought that one thing up that I got mad about?
yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, or like, well, I would make dinner, but it's never good enough." Like that comment at the end, like, "I guess I'm just never good enough." That's just an example.
Poor pitiful me.
Yeah. It's like yeah, it's like, "Hang on, time out. Did you ever think that maybe I brought that up, not because you're not good enough, but because you're making me feel
Not
not
good
good
enough.
enough?" Did you ever think about it that way? But, like, I digress because that's not our relationship, but I know that's
Yeah.
probably a relationship for somebody else that's out there, and that's a really
I've
great
been in that
topic.
situation. I know what that feels like.
Yeah. But no, it's like people want to be like and you have to have the right mindset to be in this quality of a relationship.
You do. You've gotta make sure that you're there.
Yeah. And
You have to be willing to accept a whole lot of things, like the truth.
yes. Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm not saying that you make me believe that I'm perfect. Um, I'm probably the hardest person on myself, like, as far as
I think that's anybody.
any of my no, I don't think it is.
You don't think people are harder on themselves?
No, I don't,
They are.
especially those with God complexes.
They
Um,
are. People are hard on themselves, honey.
um,
People are genuinely hard on themselves.
yeah,
I want to talk about that. Not right now,
okay,
but I do want to talk about that.
okay.
I think mental health is a really big thing, and I would venture to probably think that majority of people have mental health issues.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. I think that
they could be mild or they could be severe, but at some level, they're there. They exist.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is something
I
that I
mean, you would have to almost be psychotic to not have mental health issues because what kind of person doesn't sit and dwell on certain things in their life?
okay, so here's some information for you. Abraham Lincoln. Inspiring stories. Many people have faced rejection, experienced failures before they even enjoyed success. Some of them, such as the
Boom.
ones whose stories I've included below, are quite unrecognizable. So, Abraham Lincoln had reasons to believe that there was no reason he would succeed or be president of the United States. At 22 years old, he had a failed business. 1 year later, he ran for legislature and lost. When he was 24, he experienced a second business failure. At the age of 26, the woman that he loved passed away. And then the next year he suffered a severe nervous breakdown that lasted a year.
Yeah. And guess what?
That was Abraham Lincoln, and he's a
Guess what?
president of the United States.
And guess what probably came into play during that nervous breakdown?
What? God. Yeah, probably.
That's when things change for people.
Yeah.
Lots of big changes happen whenever you accept God into your life. And
But here
I was actually told this my entire life.
mhm.
And I fought it a lot because I didn't believe it, you know? I didn't believe that there's something that's going to change what's going on in my life, extraterrestrial or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so time out for a second. What I was gonna say is the I didn't, I meant to say earlier, I didn't grow up in a faith church or a faith family or anything like that. My grandparents were, believers, and they went to a tried and true Baptist church, from the time that I was born, they were always, churchgoers. They tried to get my parents involved in going to church when we lived out in California, and now I see that, out in California, and, we went for a little while. Some of the best, some of the best schools out in California are private schools, so I attended a Catholic private school.
Mhm.
So I was very conflicted, like, am I Baptist? Am I Catholic? Like, what's going on here? I don't really know. This is very confusing because Catholic mass and Baptist church,
Way 2
way
different
different
things.
things, right? And
So
you got a child that
much
you're
different.
trying to explain, but it wasn't like my parents were Baptist, but it was like I was forced to go to, like, Baptist church with my grandparents.
I went to
But
Southern
then
Baptist Church,
yeah, and so then, like,
like, tried and true.
once we got removed from California, we migrated to Texas, we didn't go to church at all. Like, I was completely removed from that. Like, I wasn't going to Catholic school, I was going to public school, just traditional public school, and
Mhm.
then, we didn't go to church at all. Well, then it came out my dad believed aliens. Like, so my dad literally is like, "No, there's no God, it's just extraterrestrial. Birds are aliens." Like the the pharaohs, you know how they drew like the winged creatures? He's like, "Those are aliens." Like, just way out there. Just for me, just way out there. Like, I get it. That's totally what you believe. And then I would say that my mother qualifies as a Scientologist in her beliefs. Um, So, for me to, like, have a biblical conversation, no. And I didn't get to start going back to church until I could drive. So, when I got my driver's license, did start that's when I went back to church and found God. And, yeah. So, sorry. I meant to say all of that earlier. But you didn't believe there was something that was gonna change your mindset or your belief?
Either.
Really? Did they put into your head that it
What
was
could
some
there be how could there be something so powerful, but something that doesn't in the moment exist
good.
as flesh?
Right.
Something that's supposed to take care of all of these things, but is not it's not really here. Here, but not here, right?
Mhm.
Okay, believe in something. Great. But how is that something that you believe in? How are you supposed to pour everything that you have into that something and everything's going to be okay when it's not? There was just honestly, I didn't make time to understand any of it. Didn't want to, didn't feel like I needed to. Just was not anything of importance to me. I wish that was different, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
Not that I haven't always believed in God, because I have. It's just that I never poured into it.
Right. Yeah.
I've never poured into it like I have
Right.
recently. And I can tell you personally, everything that I've poured into it recently is given right back to me
Mhm.
in some way. May
Mhm.
not be the way that you want it,
Right.
but what is what you want? Do you even know what you want? So there's a lot of people that can't answer that question. They will say, majority of people will say that they want materialistic things. And that's not really, to me, that's not really a thing anymore. It used to be, I would used to probably tell you the same exact thing. I want this. I want to live here. I want to do this. I want to do that. This is what else I want to do. And not trying to say that I don't want to do those things because I would love to do those things. it just become a whole lot less necessary.
Right.
So the bigger picture and the bigger dream has turned into a completely different mindset and a whole different thing. There are other things that probably help that change as a mindset, as a person, being a father, and knowing what I want my kids to be able to benefit from if they would just open their eyes or listen or their hearts just, and that's what I want for them.
Yeah.
I want them to not have to wait their entire lives to experience what it's taken me so long to get to.
Right.
I've been very successful in a lot of things in my life.
Doesn't
And I
necessarily
really want to
mean
be very successful in this.
yeah, me too. Uh, but just because you've been successful in something doesn't mean that that's the path that God had intended for you.
No, there are a lot of very successful people that are nowhere near the Bible or God or anything for that matter because they're so self-indulged. You couldn't pay them to open up in that way.
No.
Because they take their time and they commit it to themselves instead of something else.
Mhm.
There's so much that I had to break down in my mind in order to really understand everything that's going on in my life and why.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty thankful for the fact that I've had the ability to have the time to do all of that, and to be able to break it down, to be able to have self-reflection time, to be able to have alone time where I can sit and actually have my own thoughts instead of having to build this or that and make sure this or that is happening or have management of all of these other things going on in my life that are just distracting what I really need to focus on.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's a lot of distractions that happen in life, which is another reason why I want out of the city. Is there it's just too much. There is too much that takes you away daily. Takes so much time away from you. It's just a thief of time. And that you could have spending it with the family you're building. There's so many people that don't spend time with their family at all. They're building these families. This it breaks my heart to watch this. People go out and have all of these kids. Not that they're not taking care of them. That's not the issue. They all go to school. They're all fed. Live fancy lifestyle. They have everything that they want.
But is your child spiritually fulfilled and spiritually taken care of?
Exactly.
Yeah. And just because like this is like a whole nother podcast. Um, so I don't want to get too far off into this because we're already an hour and a half in, but like this goes back to the cost of living and the American dream that we talked about in the beginning.
Yeah.
This goes into they've got us so busy, we are so distracted and detached from our own children.
Yep. Purposely. We need to be doing God's work, not the work of the United States or the work of DFW or the work of somebody else. And whenever I say we need to be doing God's work, I'm not saying we need to go be preachers or
Missionaries or whatever. You can find God's work in everything that you do.
yeah. Doesn't matter what you do.
Mm-mm.
You can be a plumber, you can be a roofer, you can be a phone technician.
Yeah.
could be a microphone builder,
A microphone builder.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can find peace in all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Working overtime might be necessary sometimes so that you can pay your bills.
mhm.
But also, people work overtime. There are a lot of people that work overtime to get away from their families that they're building.
Yep.
There are a lot of people that work overtime so they can have a little bit extra cash to go on the next vacation away from their family. There's just so many things that are put in front of you to distract you.
True story.
Yeah. All right. That's about all I have.
Yep. And I just wanna leave you guys with this, um, talking about, doubt your doubts. Slow down. Says if you make a decision and lose your peace about it, you need to slow down and wait till you determine what's right. So, you can cancel a decision if it doesn't bring you peace. You know, if you don't be afraid to go back on it, just be honest about it. Like, "Hey, I thought this was gonna be a lot different. I'm not having peace about this anymore. I've got some inner turmoil going on. I think we need to, you know." Granted, I know if you sign a contract or there's contracts involved, things like that, things get a little bit iffy, but that's also too, like, before you sign a contract, practice the pause.
Yeah.
Just just a thought.
Absolutely. Patience is a virtue.
Ugh, I've been waiting for you to say that all night.
So I want you to look at something, honey, before we end this because this has
Okay.
been going on the entire time. Look at
Okay.
the time on the recording.
Yes. Okay.
It'll take a couple of seconds, but it's been pretty much tracking minute for minute
Mhm.
with our
There it goes.
minute.
Right there. Yeah, isn't that crazy? That never happens. I think it's a good sign.
Okay. That's all I got.
Okay. Bye, y'all. Love y'all.
See y'all. Have a good night or day
Day.
or morning, whatever.
Good day.